What's happening, people? Back with another reaction, back with some more Iron Maiden, and we're going back to the 2003 album Dance at Death, an album that I haven't gone through all that much. I think I've reacted to maybe 2 tunes so far, but I do intend on going to the post-2000 albums a little more intensively in the coming weeks and months. And ultimately, we're going to go through the whole catalog, although I should specify when I say that, my interaction with Iron Maiden has been with Bruce at the helm, meaning, or not at the helm necessarily. I know Steve Harris is sort of the linchpin of the band and the founder. But yeah, I didn't get the albums that predate Bruce joining the group, and I didn't get the 2 albums from the 90s, which include, I think it's Blaze Bayley. So yeah, bottom line, I'm going to go through all of the Iron Maiden catalog with, what I saw when I began this deep dive years ago, like well before I began doing reaction videos, to just focus on the Bruce Dickinson sort of version of Iron Maiden. So in any case, we're going to go through it all. We're going to listen to Rainmaker from this album. It's a really cool tune. I love it both lyrically and sonically. Lyrically, which again, when I do these reactions for any group, but especially Iron Maiden, which I don't have like a 30-year history of listening to like I do some of the punk bands like Subhumans and so on. But yeah, when I do these reactions, it's just interpretational. It's just the way that the lyrics have hit me. But what I take away from this song is it sort of uses a metaphor, a couple different ones, but it sort of starts with, a man walking through the desert, like looking for water for sort of, to quench his thirst, to sort of keep him alive. And ultimately, it's this idea of he sort of like, begins to hear sort of like a message from the heavens and so on, and he turns toward the sun, and the idea is that he does eventually find water, and ultimately it becomes this metaphor, I think, does the song, about hope, about like believing that you can change or that you can improve your circumstances and not sort of like sinking into like resigned cynicism and pessimism and just sort of giving up and letting yourself wilt and wither in the desert of life. So it's a song that, again, it's kind of like, it has these energetic and kind of heavy sort of metal sonics, but it's a really like hopeful, optimistic tune that's about washing away the tears in the rain and sort of like renewing yourself and believing that you really can begin again, and you can sort of like cleanse whatever bad choices or whatever like bad circumstances you were in. So again, it uses a few different metaphors, but I think essentially the way I've taken the song is that it's about hope and optimism when it comes to like improving where you are in life and what you're doing, and not just sort of like letting yourself just sort of like burn and wither with no sort of like refreshment in the desert of life, as I said. So let me know if you got a different take. Again, I welcome all opinions, especially with a group like Maiden, where I have been deep diving for a few years, but I nevertheless don't claim anywhere near as much extensive understanding of their songs as, again, a group like Subhumans or Propaganda or Bad Religion and so on. Nevertheless, let's get to it. This is This is Rainmaker from the 2003 album Dance of Death.
To
again, as I was going through my non-YouTube Iron Maiden deep dive, so like 2017, 2018, 2019, and I was listening to these songs, I remember seeing something about this song, and it was Bruce basically saying that like the original inspiration was the idea of like imagining the sound of raindrops like on leaves or something to that effect. And I was thinking when it got to that part where he's talking about like raindrops on leaves, it's a really like poetic image. And again, it's like the way in which like these concepts are used as metaphors for life and for human emotion and so on, but also as a sort of like visual scene that really sort of like gives it a really epic sort of like literary quality. So it's one thing that I really enjoyed when I began exploring their music, and it's not just, you know, like later more mature Maiden, even, you know, going back to the albums in the 80s, the sort of like attention to detail and the poetry of a lot of their songs is really impressive. So in any case, let me know what you think of this one. We'll be back for more from Dance to Death. We'll be back for more of the post-2000 albums. Again, still tracks to go through on the 80s and early 90s albums, as well as like half of the Live After Death release, which again, I think I've reacted to maybe 6 or 7 performances, but there's more than like half of the concert left, so, or 2 concerts actually. It's like one is from Long Beach, and I forget where the other one is from. But nevertheless, lots more Iron Maiden is what I mean to say. Do let me know what you think of this tune. I will see you next time. Peace.